Hey guys, hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday today. When you jump on, I would love to see all of those hearts. I'd love to see some highs. Let me know where you're coming from and how things are going. But I wanted to check in with you guys and see how things have been going so far in 2019. Are you ticking off all of the things that are on your checklist, your resolution list? Like, are you conquering 2019 so far? Or are you really living the same HR nightmares that you experienced in 2018? And maybe one of them was losing or having a high employee turnover in your practice. Hey Gary, thanks so much for joining. Are you reliving that? Is that something that's following you into 2019 already? Do you have your top team members leaving? Right? When someone who is one of your best employees, when they leave, it feels like you're literally getting punched in the stomach. You know, it's a terrible feeling, it's painful, but not only does it impact you and your business, but it also impacts the team morale. It negatively affects the quality of patient care and customer service that your patients deserve and expect to receive when they come into your office. But also it starts to affect the bottom line, right? You're gonna be short-staffed, you're then gonna have to hire, then there's the downtime of training. So it's a big domino effect that can really, really impact your team in more ways than you may think. So what can you do to be able to avoid that HR nightmare from progressing, from continuing, and from ruining 2019 from being your best year ever? So I want to dive into some tips on how you can avoid this from happening. So first thing that you need to do is, if this person has decided to leave, one of your top performers has decided to leave, what you need to start off by doing is doing some investigating work. Now, we're not talking about actually going through and trying to figure out who they're going to and why why they pick that office. Maybe they have better services or better hours. That's not the type of investigating that I'm talking about. This is more of an internal investigation and an audit that you need to be doing on your business and on your systems. Because when there's high employee turnover, that's a symptom. That means that there's something going wrong. It doesn't mean that people are leaving because you're not paying enough or you don't have the benefits that they're looking for, but they're leaving because of environment or because of management or because of poor leadership. We have so many candidates who we're interviewing on a regular basis who tell us that they're willing to find a job at a lesser pay to work in an environment that they love going to every single day. Okay, so that is a huge red flag if these top performers, are continuously leaving your practice. So the first thing that you should be doing is you need to start gathering some intel through exit interviews. So this doesn't mean that you need to have a sit-down, formal interview, because that can be really awkward for this person who's leaving your practice. Rather, you can do it in a very, very simple format where you can actually have a form for them to fill out, and you can ask specific questions about the reason why they're leaving, and they can be honest about it, because guess what? They don't have to worry if their job is on the line. They don't have to worry if their honesty is going to be questioned. These are honest, raw answers they're going to be providing for you. And they may hurt, right? They may shine some light on an area that you had no idea about. So certain things that you want to ask is, you want to ask them, first of all, the reason why they're leaving. Was it because of an event, or was it because a series of things that happened that really made them and motivated them that this wasn't the right environment for them anymore, for them to go and look for another job? Or was it because of performance, or maybe there was a lack of growth in this position? Maybe that's what encourage them to go and look for another opportunity. Maybe they felt like, you know what, I feel like I've reached the level that I can at this position. There's no more future growth opportunities, so I need to find another office where I can flourish and I can grow in my personal growth and development. So finding if that is the case, or how maybe you can ask them how their leadership or how your management can improve, right? Maybe there's certain things that the manager or the leadership styles or certain things that really made them look for another position. So having them do an interview, an exit interview, is really, really key and can give you a ton of information that will really help you improve in those areas and identify if there's any leaking pipes that need to be fixed. Hey guys, thanks for joining. So the next thing, so step number 2 is that you want to audit your team and your systems. So now that you have this information, I want you to take anything that they said. I want you to have an open mind to it. I want you to be open and honest with yourself and really look at those areas that were identified and do an audit. Seeing if there's, maybe for instance, if they discussed something about having a lack of communication. Maybe there's no performance reviews that are happening in your practice, and that's what's has really affected the way that they can confront you or confront anyone with any ideas or any things that they have that could be implemented that can really change your practice. Maybe there was none of that in your practice. So if that's something that they did mention, then I want you to kind of look through your systems and see, okay, they're right. There was absolutely no performance reviews. There was no coaching sessions. There was no communication that we are giving actively to our team members. So that is what got them to leave, right? So if that's something, then it's time for you to start implementing it. So with the answers that they gave you, you want to be able to see what areas need to improve. You need to think about the changes that you want to implement and the desired outcomes that you would like to see with this change. Then you need to have a team meeting to review all of these changes and discuss what needs to be changed and brainstorm how you will make these changes happen together, okay? This is something that you don't use this team meeting saying this person said that they're leaving because of Susie's attitude or because this. It's not a finger pointing session. That does not accomplish anything. The moment you point a finger, there's always 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Okay, so that's not what this session is for. This session is to be able to see how you can improve, how you guys can grow from this, how you can learn from this, and how you can really create a cohesive and a great office culture so you avoid any other team members from leaving the practice. And the last thing is that you want to have an individual check-in meeting with each of your team members, because that's a huge blow to the entire team as a structure, as a whole, when a team member who's been there for a while, who's a top performer, maybe who's a leader in your practice, leaves, right? So that can create a huge void. The stress on everyone just went through the roof, and now they're starting to think about is all of the new work and all the things that they're going to have to take over and all of the challenges and overtime and all these things that are running through their mind, all of these stresses, that maybe that's starting to get them to think, well, maybe it's not worth it to stay here either. Maybe I should start looking for a job for myself, right? You want to avoid that. So how you're going to do that is to schedule just a check-in meeting with every individual team member that you have. Just sit down with them, take a pulse check, see how they're feeling about the recent and upcoming changes, do some goal settings to see maybe that person that left, maybe they have some roles and responsibilities that this team member would love to take on, who would love to get more training on, right? Why not use this opportunity to be able to bring that other employee up into that role and getting them excited and feeling like they're planting roots in your practice. Then you want to schedule a performance review later on, just so that you guys can discuss maybe some areas of improvement, maybe checking in on some of the goals that have been setting, what support and resources that you can give them so that they're feeling like they're set up for this role for success. So how does this all help? How do all of these 3 points, how are they going to help? Well, your team will feel like their feedback and their ideas and their input is important. They're going to feel valued, and they want to become more invested in the success of your practice. So when someone quits, it affects the entire business. There's more stress, the workload increases, the anxiety is through the roof, not only just for you as an owner, but everybody in the practice. So finding the right person to fill those shoes and fill that former rock star's shoes is a lot of stress on your plate. So you need to motivate them, you need to empower your team so that they can get through this hard time. You guys can get through this together. And when you get them motivated and they see you that you're resolving these issues, Because if this person who left saw this issue, other people in your practice also see this issue. So when they see that you're actively trying to resolve this, that's going to make them feel like they don't need to leave. And it's going to help them thinking that maybe the grass is greener on the other side and start looking for a job themselves. So this is going to really improve the team morale. It's going to help improve and make a better, stronger office culture, and it's going to stop those issues that led to your top performer leaving in the first place. So I hope you guys enjoyed those tips. So make sure that you start by conducting an exit interview. Then you want to audit your systems and the team environment, and then you want to have individual check-in meetings with every single team member so that everybody can voice their concerns and can fix this issue so that you avoid anyone from leaving in the future. So I hope you guys found these tips helpful. Every single week we're going to keep diving into more and more tips on some common HR nightmares that affect all practices, but how you can avoid making those mistakes in 2019 so you can actually make this your best year ever. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to be back next Wednesday where I'm going to be talking about delivering poor employee orientation experiences, how that is a major HR nightmares in more than ways than one. So thanks for tuning in. See you next week.